really. The red card. Any sympathy for Eddie Nketiah? Been on the field less than 90 seconds, hadn't touched the ball. Was this just a player who hadn't quite got up to the pace of the game, or was it nasty?
No, I don't think it is. It is really nasty. He doesn't want to hurt him. Of course, we've seen it's just, he just entered, 2 minutes. He wants to prove that, he can play, and it's just a bit clumsy. But he's still strong, and he really, really deserves the red card.
What did you think, Robert? Did that have malice in it, or was it just unfortunate?
He's trying to do, isn't he? He's just trying to nick the ball and. Before Justin gets there, just to get on the counter attack, and he just got it wrong. I don't think there was any intent to sort of go as hard as he did, but having looked at the outcome of it, I think that the ref was right to give him the red card, even though I don't think he went in to hurt him.
Changed the complexion of the game, though. It gave Leicester the chance to get back into it. A good point in the end for Brendan Rodgers' side?
For sure, yeah. I mean, ideally it would have been 3 points, but the way the game went first half, a couple of excellent saves from Kasper. He'd be happy with the point. They're in a great position now with 4 games to go, even though they got 4 cup games to come now. They'll be happy in the position where they are, of course, for sure.
Keeps them in the top 4. Jamie Vardy loves scoring against Arsenal.
Yes. The cross is very good. We were just waiting. If Perez touched the ball, Vardy would have been offside, but they checked. And we don't think Perez has touched the ball. So it's a real striker goal. It's just behind Mustafi. He's just sniffing the goal. It's impressive. Just the timing. He's just smell and the goal, and that's unbelievable. And the finishing is good, of course, but it's just the cross is perfect, whipped into that box there.
We've seen so many goals chalked off this season by VAR when it's been millimetres. Probably won't think this if you're an Arsenal fan, but it was almost a relief to see the officials leave that one alone. It was fractional if it touched Perez. This was the opening goal. Wonderful piece of skill down the right from Saka. Aubameyang making it 20 goals this season. That's now 5 years in a row he's got to 20. The only other players to do that, Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski.
But it's quite impressive because...
very impressive.
Yeah, because most of the time, he played in a 4-2-3-1 and on the left, so sometimes he was tracking down his right back, so to play left mid like this and score 20 goals, it's really, really good. He
wants, reportedly, £250,000 a week to sign a new deal with Arsenal. Would you give it to him?
I would give it to him, yes, as long as they can, have that negotiation, and if it's good for him, I would give it to him. It's
even at 31, even at his age.
Even at 31, why? 2 things, physically and mentally. When I say mentally, as I said to you, playing as a left winger and all the time at that kind of mentality, tracking down, defending, scoring goals, great mentality with everybody. And when you see physically, he's really skinny still. When you age, your body can be quite, bigger, a little bit more muscle.
You say we put on a bit of weight as we get older.
Exactly. And when you see him, he's got the age at 17 when I'm seeing him in Saint-Etienne, so he can run, he can score 20 plus. I would give him 2 years plus 1, but naturally, you can't have strikers like this on the market. And I think when you see the plan, to go to the next stage for Mikel, he needs him badly, and he's a leader as well, but a positive leader. So I would give him straight away, as long as the wages is not that high and he doesn't ask too much. He's a real gem.
One other Arsenal player tonight, we found out today, Matteo Guendouzi hasn't trained with the first team for 2 weeks since the Brighton game. From that position, where you're no longer part of the main group, is there any way back for him now with Arsenal?
No, I don't think so. When Mikel, I was with Mikel in Paris. He's a very good guy. Very genuine. He's very calm. If he puts Guendouzi 2 weeks out, that means something serious happened. Maybe I don't know, disrespect, but he really didn't like it. So I think until Mikel is there. I don't see Matteo coming back, or maybe will be a bit indulgent, and time will heal things, but it will be very, very difficult because this is the second time.
Robert, have you ever come across that in your career? Players who've been exiled from the first team squad. Once you're in that position, is there any way back?
Yeah, all the time. I think it's a tactic clubs use to sort of get rid of players, to test their mentality if they can come back. If they had a difficult time, which I'm guessing Arteta might be doing with Guendouzi, is to see if he's got the grit to come back. But yeah, I mean, my first professional club at Chelsea, we had Winston Bogart. He was frozen out pretty much straight away. I don't know if you remember, but he was quite happy with being frozen out and getting paid for the next couple of years they was at Chelsea. That's a really, really difficult one. I've seen players being upset by it and not being able to deal with it, and I've seen players, almost sort of neglecting their own career just to sort of spite the club, because the players these that have got the power, where if Guendouzi doesn't want to leave for the next couple of years and he doesn't get a contract which is sort of equivalent of what he's on now, then he's within his rights to stay there and sort of mess up potential signings for Arsenal because he's still on the payroll. So it's a messy situation to be in, and it's once you sort of take that decision to remove a player from the squad, you really got to have to be tough.
Yeah, difficult situation. Jamie Vardy got the equaliser for Leicester tonight.
Overall feeling, is it pride at getting yourselves back in the game, or frustration that you didn't manage to kill them off when they were down to 10?
No, I think we've got to say definitely pride getting back into the game. We had to keep moving the ball, keep them running when they've gone down to 10, and it was just all about being patient, and we've got one, and then after that we've tried going on to get the win, just wasn't so glad to be.
How much was it about focus once they went down to 10, knowing what to do in those circumstances?
Yeah, 100% focused, but like I said, it was just down to keeping the ball, keeping it moving as quick as possible to get them running, try and tire them out a bit, and we've managed to nick one at the end.
How much was it a game changer, them losing a man?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I mean, we started the game well. I think when we've gone 1-0 down, we started panicking a bit, so it was about coming back out for that second half and showing what we can do. Obviously, going down to 10 men, it means that they work even harder to try and make that man up. So, like I said, we just knew we had to stick to our plan, keep moving the ball, and we've managed to get a draw out of it.
You got the goal, number 22 of the season. You had a few sighters earlier in the game.
Yeah, I've absolutely scuffed one. I'll blame the rain, but I miss it completely, and then in the next one I was just offside, but obviously delighted to finish that one up.
Did it fire you up at all? Aubameyang getting a goal as well? Because there's a red-hot race between the two of you.
No, you don't have to look at anything like that. At the end of the day, it's all about putting performances in for the club and picking up as many points as possible. And I've said before, it doesn't really matter who scores as long as we are picking them points up.
Also as well, bear in mind, Champions League sports, important to keep Arsenal at arm's length.
I think it was just important to get a result. Obviously, we got the win at the weekend, so we wanted to keep that momentum going, and we picked up a point today, so now it's back into training and focusing for next week.
Well done. Jamie, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
So, race for the top four looks like this. Chelsea on 60 points, Leicester a point behind on 59, United on 55. Those two play on the final day of the season. Wolves and Arsenal make up the top 7. Didier, who'll finish top 4 for you right now?
I think it will be, of course, Man City, but Chelsea and Man United. When I see the fixtures, I think it's slightly easier for Man United in the last game than Chelsea or Leicester or Wolves. So I fancy Man United because they're flying at the moment. They have a good series, good run. They're full of confidence. So I think they will finish 4th.
Robert, do you think it'll come down to that final day of the season when Leicester play Manchester United?
I hope not. I don't want to be watching it with that much stress. Definitely not. I think that the top 4 will stay as they are. I really do. It's all in Leicester's hands still, and obviously Chelsea's. And I think they will capitalise on it.
You think Leicester have got enough to hold off Manchester United, even the way that Ole Solskjaer's side are playing at the minute?
For sure. I mean, it's going to be pressure on both sides, because if you're Man U, it's probably more important for them to get to the Champions League. They're such a massive club. They haven't been in the Champions League for the last couple of years. And from a Leicester's point of view, I mean, to get into Europe, it's great. to get the Champions League would be absolutely amazing. So I think it's more pressure on Man U and the catching clubs than
Love your optimism, Robert. You can't tell you're a former Leicester man. Right, let's have a quick look at the bottom, where Norwich look as if they're just about done.